activist group called People United for Better Government says it is not happy about the outcome of this investigation. It's been questioning what's happening with this investigation since the very beginning. I just spoke with group leader Mario Sims, and he says he is saddened by the fact that Officer Knepper will not be facing any criminal charges, but Tom and Suzanne Stevens are. He also says we should all be able to see the dash cam video of what happened that night.
And I think the people should have been allowed to actually see what the investigators were looking at. So, you know, I just think that what we have here is just a breakdown in trust between the people, some of the people, and those positions of power.
Tom Stevens spent 4 days in the hospital after the March 25th incident. According to a neurosurgeon, Stevens' injuries to his head and face were consistent with a hard fall to a rough surface, causing him to suffer a slow brain bleed. He also had a seizure. According to court documents, this whole thing started when Officer Knepper saw a pickup driving slowly down Twickenham with its lights off. Tom Stevens was driving that truck and ran a stop sign. Then, according to investigators, Knepper tried to pull Stevens over, but Stevens drove less than a block to his own driveway. Stevens got out of his truck and tried to walk inside and didn't stop when Knepper repeatedly asked him to. After that, Knepper tased Stevens, but court documents say those taser prongs did not appear to affect him. Knepper grabbed Stevens to keep him from going inside the house. That started a fight between the two. Suzanne Stevens tried to pull the officer away from her son at a couple different times. Court documents say she fell to the ground. Knepper also pushed her up against a wall to subdue her. All three were hurt in the incident. Now, even though Officer Knepper is not facing any criminal charges in this, he's not necessarily in the clear. A South Bend police spokesman tells me this case will now be forwarded to South Bend Police Department's internal affairs investigators, and this is not the first time Knepper has had to go before the IA. He's been punished before for using excessive force and for convincing a convenience store clerk to swallow a teaspoon of sugar, Rick, even when he knew, of cinnamon, even when he knew that that cinnamon would make the clerk sick.
And Kelly, you also talked with Suzanne Stevens this afternoon. What did she tell you?
You know, she's upset. She says that the same reason that the Citizens United for Better Government are upset that they're facing charges Officer Knepper is not. She also says that her son takes care of her. She's 76 years old, and she said, I just don't know what I'm going to do now. Rick?
Kelli Stopczynski live in South Bend tonight. Kelly, thanks.
A brotherly argument turns